Yay!
Instead of writing a song, I wanted to tell everybody a little story.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I'm just going to tell a little story. So, about 3 years ago,
When I was 47.
okay, so about 3 years ago, just about when Jeremy entered the family, Mommy and Abba were introduced to a whole new way of life. You see, Jeremy and Ayala loved traveling to all these really cool and exotic places. Not a frequent pastime in the Reuben family. So this just happened to coincide with Mommy becoming disenchanted with, let's just say, some aspects of Toronto. Not that it was quite the way Trump described some other countries. So she decided that wherever her kids traveled, she and Abba would visit too. With, of course, the hidden agenda of scouting out those neighborhoods to see if they were viable replacements for Toronto. The truth is, before this all started, there were some other prospective neighborhoods. These were Brampton and Barrie and Mississauga. Mommy was very familiar with the area, and quite frankly, familiar with the inside of most of the residence homes. But this was scratched pretty quickly when she remembered that the main source of income in those places was fraudulent insurance claims. Quote, they're all a bunch of fakers.
Liars.
So off to Mexico it was, or would have been. But we all know Mommy's super strict adherence to kosher is absolutely commendable. Although that woman in Spas with the turtle is still angry at her for not letting us eat her muffins for breakfast.
That's very funny.
So when Mommy heard about Ayala and Jeremy's kosher restaurant scandal, they decided not to follow them there. Instead, Mommy decided to give Thailand and Vietnam a try. Abba agreed. He said, hey, we're so used to the Trudeau communists here, I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to adjust to Vietnam. As well, Abba pointed out, the Thai are known for their human hair industry. Maybe you wouldn't need to buy your shaitels off someone else's head for a change. On the day of their flights, with her Yachad Marathon and Zarena Movathon t-shirts all packed up, Mommy decided, you know what? Let's just check the passports. We don't want to make any mistakes. It so happened to be that earlier that week, Mommy had driven back and forth twice from New York, once for Barbara's son's brother-in-law's Afruk, and then for a board of a student of the Mechutin of an old friend of hers. Well, on the way back, she dumped the passports into a purse, just it wasn't her purse. It was the purse of the passenger who was getting a ride with her, because somehow Mommy is always driving the second cousin of a distant friend with her. Oh no, cried Mommy. In truth, she really said a whole string of other unrepeatable words. I'm going to have a fit. Why didn't I open my mouth? I should have just said it how it is. Never win. She turned to Abba and she said, forget Thailand and Vietnam. I'm getting in the car. I'm going to just drive to New Jersey instead by myself through the night. I don't care that there's a horrible blizzard out. Abba was worried. With Trump's new immigration enforcement, I don't think you'll be able to get over the border without a passport. I don't think that's a good idea. But hey, Sachi and Jir just came back from Trombone. That's in the country, so we won't even need to deal with any borders. So that was it, off to Quebec, land of separatists and a whole lot of hijabs. Everything Mommy could possibly love, right? But I guess she thought she ought to give the mountain air a chance. Besides, she was so bogged down with reports. In Tremblant, she could just let Avi and Abba tackle the slopes on their own, while she stayed back and wrote reports. Or maybe indulge in just one more episode of Levin over her third cup of coffee. That morning the phone rang. It was Safta. Which of the kids are expecting? And which she expected. And she wanted to know which of the kids were expecting and which she expects to be expecting. But indeed, the hijabs did prove too overwhelming. So Mommy thought that maybe the demographics of Baltimore would be more accommodating.
Oh boy.
There, she could dote over Miri and Rachel and do medic to Leah, with Esther's permission, of course. What a perfect opportunity to start a black market for smuggling Costco cheese back to Toronto at a good price. But without select hockey over there, how would she fill her nights, and evenings, and her mornings, and afternoons, and come to think of it, some weekends?
Safta.
After further possible contemplation about England and Arizona, alas, back to Toronto it was. As they walked into the house, Mommy immediately put on her headphones, blasted some Highway to Hell, and then thunderstruck, and began yet another therapeutic cleaning spree, barring all visitors. except Sachi for lunch, Tamar's kids always, but other than that, no visitors. Until next week, when I'm not busy. It was then that she began thinking to herself, maybe it's not so bad here. Where else could one spend double the price on groceries like one does at Sobeys? And where else could the cashiers in Costco know you by name? And it's so hard to spoil the grandkids to no end from afar. Who would take care of Jaime or David? But suddenly, Sachi and Shira in Israel? Well, every Shabbos I cook for an army, and there's a great army there to feed. Abba, maybe if we go, our kids will follow us for a change.
Oh, that's
Go, yeah.